The hair-raising experience unfolded one evening when Amelia was getting ready for bed. The full moon hung ominously in the night sky, casting an eerie glow into her bedroom. As she stood in front of her antique vanity mirror, its ornate silver frame reflecting the moonlight, she noticed something peculiar. It wasn't her reflection staring back at her. In the depths of the mirror, concealed by the shadows, there seemed to be something or someone lurking. A sense of dread washed over her. This was no ordinary mirror. It had been passed down from her grandmother, and with it came whispers of a dark secret. A tale of an entity that resided within its glassy depths. Had she unwittingly unleashed this horror into her life? Amelia found herself inexplicably drawn to the mirror, unable to tear her gaze away from the shadows that danced and flickered at the edge of her vision. What was it about this moment, this place, and this mirror that made it all feel so wrong? She knew she should turn away, break the spell before it consumed her, but she couldn't. It was as if an invisible hand was pulling her into the abyss, compelling her to confront whatever horror lay hidden in the mirror's depths. Then it happened. In a flash of movement, something darted across her vision. It was gone as quickly as it appeared, leaving her with a sense of unease and a growing suspicion that she wasn't alone. In that room, fear tightened its grip around Amelia's heart. Her breathing quickened, her pulse raced, and her mind raced to conjure up images of the creature that haunted her nightmares. She recalled the stories, chilling narratives that her grandmother had shared about the mirror, tales of a malevolent spirit trapped within its glassy confines. According to legend, the mirror had once been the prized possession of a wealthy socialite who used it not just to admire her beauty, but to commune with dark forces. The mirror became a portal, a gateway to a realm where shadows twisted into monstrous shapes, and where the veil between the living and the dead was paper-thin. Now, centuries later, the mirror had found its way into Amelia's hands, and with it, the curse of its former owner. The thought sent shivers down her spine. Was she now trapped in a terrifying game of hide-and-seek with an entity from beyond the grave? How could she escape the clutches of a being whose very essence thrived in the darkness? Her eyes darted around the room, searching for any sign of movement, any indication of the creature's presence. But the room was silent, shrouded in an unsettling stillness. It felt heavy with unseen eyes upon her, with whispers echoing just beyond her hearing. The silence itself seemed to scream, amplifying her every fear and doubt. As the minutes ticked by, each second stretching into an eternity, Amelia felt her composure slipping. She wanted to break free from the suffocating grip of fear, to shatter the illusion that was holding her captive, yet she couldn't. She was frozen in place, caught in the headlights of terror. She had to do something, anything, to break the cycle. But what? Her gaze fell on the mirror, its surface now a canvas of swirling darkness, and an idea struck her like a bolt from the blue. She remembered her grandmother's words, spoken in hushed tones, warning her about the mirror's power and its insatiable hunger for souls. But there was more. Her grandmother had also mentioned a way to banish the creature, a ritual that could sever the entity's hold on the mirror and on her life. It was a risky gambit, one that required unwavering courage and an iron will. But Amelia had no other choice. She was in too deep, and the creature was growing bolder, its presence seeping into her reality like a venomous fog. With newfound determination, Amelia began the ritual. First, she had to purify the mirror, cleanse its surface of the creature's taint. With trembling hands, she dipped a white cloth into holy water, the liquid shimmering with otherworldly light, and began to wipe down the mirror, each stroke banishing another layer of darkness. The air crackled with energy. The room grew colder, and the full moon seemed to cast an accusing eye upon her, judging her every move. Just as she neared the end of the ritual, the creature stirred within the mirror. Its icy fingers scraped against the glass, trying to break free, to drag her down into its eternal darkness. Fear threatened to consume her, but she pressed on, driven by the hope of reclaiming her life, of banishing the creature back to the abyss from whence it came. With the final stroke, the mirror was cleansed. The creature roared in frustration, its voice echoing with millennia of torment, and then it lunged. Time seemed to stop. The room plunged into darkness, as if the very night sky had been snuffed out. And then, right before her eyes, the mirror shattered. The shards rained down, catching the moonlight and scattering it across the room like fallen stars. In the midst of the chaos, Amelia saw it. The creature was free, writhing in the fragments of its prison, its form distorted and grotesque in the flickering moonlight. It lashed out, tendrils of darkness reaching for her, seeking to drag her into the wreckage. But she was prepared. With a surge of adrenaline, she leaped aside, narrowly avoiding its grasp. The creature slammed into the wall, its form flickering and fading as it recoiled in pain. It hated daylight and holy water, and the ritual had weakened it, but it was far from finished with her. Amelia knew this was her last chance. The creature was wounded, yes, but its essence was seeping through the cracks in the room, corrupting everything it touched. She had to act fast. Grabbing the remnants of the cloth, still wet with holy water, she charged forward, each step echoing with determination. The creature snarled, bearing rows of razor-sharp teeth and a grotesque parody of a smile. It lunged again, but this time Amelia was ready. She ducked under its grasp and slashed the cloth across its face. The creature recoiled, shrieking in agony as the holy water burned its ethereal flesh. With renewed vigor, Amelia pressed her attack. She danced around the creature, each movement precise, each strike aimed at driving it back. The room became a battleground, the air thick with the stench of brimstone and the creature's guttural screams. Finally, with a last desperate lunge, Amelia managed to douse the creature in holy water, let out a soul-wrenching screech, a sound that seemed to tear at the very fabric of reality. Then it vanished, collapsing into dust that floated listlessly to the floor. Silence descended, heavy and absolute, broken only by Amelia's ragged breathing. The full moon peeked through the clouds, bathing the room in an ethereal glow. The battle was over, but the cost of victory was etched on Amelia's face in the fine sheen of sweat and the wild glint in her eyes. The mirror was gone, leaving behind only shards that glinted like fallen stars. And with it, the curse had been lifted, the creature banished. But as the first rays of dawn crept through the window, painting the room in hues of gold and rose, Amelia knew that her ordeal was far from over. For the mirror's curse had not only been a test of her courage and faith, it had also been a descent into the darkest recesses of her soul. And in confronting the creature, she had faced not only an external horror, but her own deepest fears and doubts. Now, as the sun rose higher, casting its warm embrace over the room, Amelia was left to deal with the aftermath. The shards of the mirror had to be disposed of, the traces of the ritual cleaned away. But more importantly, she had to piece together the fragments of her own spirit. For in battling the creature of the mirror, she had come face to face with the darkness that lurked within her own heart, the fears and insecurities that had been amplified by the curse, and it was in confronting these inner demons that she truly triumphed. As the day wore on, Amelia slowly began to heal. The memory of the creature lingered, a phantom limb of fear and uncertainty. But with each passing hour it faded a little more until it was nothing more than a whisper on the wind. The ordeal had changed her, tempered her spirit, and strengthened her resolve. She was no longer the same person who had stood before the mirror that fateful night. Now, with the curse broken and the mirror gone, Amelia stepped into the sunlight, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The ordeal had been terrifying, yes, but it had also been transformative. And as she looked up at the sky, now a brilliant canvas of blue, she knew that she had stared into the abyss and emerged stronger, braver, and more resolute than ever before. The curse was over, but the strength she found within herself would endure.